let's look at it this way, Mr. Kua. Pangu, People's Progress Party, those old political parties, and the National Party then, and now the PNG National Party, you're old political parties. You're recognized. Your branding is a likable one out the country. But you didn't do so well in the elections as opposed to the other parties. Why was that? Did the people did they think that it ended with Kavali and then the Ambaki and those there? Or what happened there?
If we knew the answer to that question, every political party will be successful.
Okay.
So the answer is elusive. Mm-hmm. You try to find the answers in your effort to build up your numbers as a political party. A number of factors contribute to a party success. One of which is the leader's reputation.
Yes.
The leader's reputation, and how the people perceive and like him, in the public forum, in the public stage. So for us, we didn't have cohesive leadership. So our political fortunes, just like Pangu, until it's been rehabilitated by the late Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Sam Basil, was literally disappeared from the political landscape.
And likewise the United Party as well.
And the United Party. It's in a political doldrum somewhere out there. And Melanesian Alliance, parties come and go. So an example of its revival is Pangu Party. It needs one man with the right ideas and the right approaches to revitalize it. And Pangu's revival today is largely attributable to the efforts of the late Sam Basil, Honorable Sam Basil. So you want to revitalize a party, you look at people like, what did Sam Basil do right to revive a near-dead party organizationally? And he tried to emulate it. So for National Party, we take our experiences back to 2017 when I was with the party for only 1 year. We had 1 year's preparation to go out on a massive election campaign in the country. 1 year is not enough.
No.
I joined them in 2016 and 2017. We were confronted with the elections. We didn't have enough time to prepare, screen our candidates, but notwithstanding the odds that we were facing at that time. And one important thing is financial resources.
Sure. That's always the case.
And I will come to that down the track about this, the need to reform and substantially reduce or minimize the cost of election.
Okay, we'll talk about the electoral reforms a little later.
Later. Very important. But these things contribute to your success. So in 2017, we won 5 seats. We endorsed 57 candidates. And then we won 5, but our success was in the fact we realized that we had second runner-up, 11 people in second place.
Okay.
And then 7 people in third place. You add them together, because they are in close proximity to first place, that totals 23. Governments are formed on around 24, 25, if you had it, and sometimes 12 people also, if you negotiate it right.
Yes.
But our efforts in 2017 was not a total failure. It helped us to understand where we stood as a party and what approaches to take and what not to take.
Okay.
So after 5 years, from 17 to 22, we are better prepared.
Okay, so in 2022 now, Kerenga is the right man, is he? And the party is at the threshold of better ahead?
We believe we are.
Okay.
It's all an objective view. The Papua New Guinea citizens, the electorate, have to form their own view. For myself, speaking for myself, if I felt I didn't have it, seriously speaking, I will not seek re-election. That's the way I approach my life. I will not seek re-election. If I had been doing things the wrong way in my district, for example, over 2 terms, I'll be the first to admit that I had failed, and I will not seek re-election. The fact that I have nominated means that in my own personal assessment, my involvement as the open member for Sinus and Yongmok, I can see some meaningful benefits.
Okay.
And I believe that some of the things I have done are work in progress at the moment, and if I continued, I could complete that, and that can impact upon the people's quality of life in my district.
Okay.
Nationally, as a party leader, we have done well as a party. We've contributed so much to, for example, I've been the petroleum minister the last 3 years. I had done so much in terms of firstly understanding the industry myself, and then setting up a whole-scale legislative reform. I've brought in so many bits and pieces of legislations that's now going to underpin the petroleum industry going forward.
All right.
But the most significant reform that I had prepared got the approval of the NEC and put on the notice paper on Parliament has not been debated and voted upon because I had opposition from people who didn't want to see a massive reform of the mining and petroleum industry.
Okay. I want to get to your portfolio, the petroleum portfolio, a little later on, but we're still on the party and your and the PNG National Party's quest going forward. You endorsed 15 in 2017, but a little under that, 40 something this time. How optimistic are you of bringing in at least some numbers to be counted, to be reckoned with when it comes to formation of government?
Yeah, we've endorsed 47 this time round, and there's about 3 candidates pro, so total 50.
Okay.
Selecting your candidates is an art. It's not a science.
It is.
In science, there's always one answer. In art, it's always unpredictable. It could be any outcome. So we are hopeful that we will produce enough number to be an influential force in Papua New Guinea politics.
Okay.
I realize that in Papua New Guinea politics, you have to have numbers to mean anything. If you don't have numbers, you can come up with the best policy platforms, but numbers will still defeat it if you don't have the numbers.
True.
So in the last 3 years, I've done a lot of policy, dealt with a lot of policy matters, which included setting up the National Petroleum Authority, which is a new authority, drafted the organic law for the mining and petroleum to move into production sharing instead, and moving away from the concession-based licensing system we have, which the net effect of which reduces our rate of return to the country, makes it expensive to answer, gets us into very substantive loans. You repay until the end of the project life. You have very little opportunity to make a substantial net income. So realizing all of that, we feel that it's not the project developers who are the underlying cause. It is your own loss that places you in that situation and does not benefit you. So we as National Party, and me as Petroleum Minister, we have taken the corrective actions, but it's just that members of Parliament in this current Parliament, some significant members of Parliament, didn't support it. They were too afraid to venture into untested waters.
Were they afraid, or did they not understand it?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Both and others as well, and I don't want to talk about the others. Right. They're comfortable where they are. Oh. Even though their comfort, level of comfort, area of comfort, is not the same space occupied by the country. They occupy their own little space. The country does not benefit, but they're comfortable. Yeah. That's a difference.
Corruption, in other words. Well, many people describe it differently.
If we don't have any others, you can put it in that basket too. So for one reason or the other, they fail to support the bill. The bill is still there. So I have to bring numbers in. We really must do it as a country. I firmly and seriously believe in this, that we have to change the legislative framework in the mining and petroleum space. That work, the bill is ready in various versions. I've done various versions. I've done various versions of it, several versions of the same bill, in order to satisfy the doubting Thomases in our political leadership. And it's there. We can bring it in, but I need numbers.
Sure.
Initially, to force the agenda and to achieve that outcome. And we haven't given up. We're still gonna push it, and that's one of our big agendas. We have a couple of other big agendas also going into this election, and the way we want to see Papua New Guinea go forward after the election, and we can talk about some of those now.
Okay. Well, hypothetically, how many do you think you're gonna come in with?
I want enough number to influence policy.
Okay. Enough numbers for you to be a candidate for the top job, or enough numbers to influence whoever's going and to...
That's not in our hands.
Okay.
That's not in our hands to determine or to talk about, and I don't want to sound boisterous about this agenda, but you got to be humble about it. What you can afford to talk about, you talk about. What I can talk about is that we want enough numbers to shape policy, to shape decision making, to shape major policy decisions, appointments, distribution of resources, and all these things. We want to have a major say. As a two-man party in the last government, it was not a pleasurable existence. We see that on major key decisions we were left out. Our opinions on other matters were respected, but in certain key areas were disregarded. We don't like that. We feel that whatever we say it with all sincerity and ought to be respected most of the time, not sometime and not other times. Most times we feel that if it's serious enough to be elevated to that level of discussion, then it's serious enough. So other people are around us who form the team of decision makers should respect that. And we should get it through, but no, we haven't.
Okay, let me just go to that. You were removed in the O'Neill government as minister. Is it because you stood up and you say that you believed in certain things and it was opposed in cabinet?
At the time, I was Attorney General and Minister for Justice. And in fact, that's a very powerful portfolio. As Minister, everything in Papua New Guinea is regulated by law. So if you're a Minister for Justice, you can touch on just about every department through their laws, enabling laws. Yeah. It's a very, very powerful position, which a lot of Attorney Generals don't realize. At that time, I used the authority vested in me through that office to make certain very, very decisive decisions against corruption. And that's what cost me my job.
Okay, all right.
And I've never been sorry for it.
Okay.
I was very happy I did it. The actions I've taken, which I knew once I took it would be institutionalized and nobody would remove it. I can be removed, but my decision would not be removed, and I've been right. The decision I've made has been institutionalized and no one has removed it. It's still there. It needs the correct leadership to reactivate it. But the institution is in the state files, on record, to be activated anytime you have a leader with an appetite to do so.
Okay. We're going to the elections. There's two names emerging, Marape O'Neill, who will try to form the government. And in this country, the unexpected happens. So we're not pinning all our hopes onto these two. But should it be that these are the two candidates for the top job? You are with Mr. Marape right now.
Yeah.
Should Mr. O'Neill get it? Will you go in there, and then if your policies are accepted, will you be part of that government?
We have an existing relationship, and before you talk about new gains, you have to preserve what you already have in your hands. So our primary objective will be to preserve what we have, and that is to protect the Marape government in a coalition. And that's what we will be seeking to do, and that's our main area of focus. About the shape and content of future governments, that's all I can say at the moment because I'm presently in this government. But after the election, there will be new people coming into the party, other peoples will be leaving, and views and opinions might change. But my position at the present, being a member of the current government, is to protect, defend, protect, and preserve what we have, and which is the Marape-led government.
Next on Your Vote Matters.
Where did that political party get that money? And if you study that issue carefully, you'll realize it's usually the ruling, the parties that are present in government.